Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm. Today we are going to create a new project. This is going to be a web page that's focused on your favorite movie. So we're going to build it together. I am going to create one for my favorite movie, Avengers Endgame. Now this is going to involve HTML and CSS, but we are not going to use the style.css sheet, so we can get rid of that. And we're not doing any JavaScript at all, so we can get rid of that as well. So all we need is the index.html. We're going to do all of our styling in this page here. So we can also get rid of the link there and this stuff as well. Okay, now we have a blank web page, and we can start building our web page with the content. So I'm going to start with the HTML. Let's put an H1 on the top of the page, and mine is going to say Avengers Endgame. Now yours is obviously going to be whatever movie you are writing your web page about. Now, please do not just steal my idea. I mean, let's say Avengers Endgame is your favorite movie. Okay. Pick a different one. You can't have the same favorite movie as me. Nana Nana Boo Boo. All right. Let's find another movie you like. I don't want another Endgame post or web page. I want something different. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to create something called a div. Now, divs are a bit complicated, but it's kind of easy to think about them as simply just a container. This is going to be a container where we store some HTML elements. Now, this is going to help us with positioning things in the right way. And so I'm going to use this container to store some text and a list of our cast members. That way we can move that list kind of wherever we want it to go. So inside of this div, I'm going to put a paragraph element. And I want a description of the web or of the movie. So I'm just going to go to imdb.com. And I will search for Avengers Endgame. Here we go. And then I will take this description of the movie. I'll copy it and paste it directly in. So let me paste it in there. All right, there we go. So now let's run it. Let's see what we have. We have Avengers Endgame, and then after a devastating events of blah, 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 blah. So it has all of the description of the movie. Next, below that, I'm going to put an H2. Oh, and, oh, hello. That was weird. I'm going to put an H2. I'm going to say cast. And then the cast is going to be this list of cast members here. Okay. Now I am just going to copy and paste from my notes because I already have the cast list written out. So basically I'm using an ordered list. You know what? Let's make it an unordered list. Let's do that because I just want it to be bulleted and not numbered. So we're going to create an unordered list, and then I'm going to have roughly 6 cast members here. All right. So there's my cast right there. Perfect. That div itself is going to be one container by itself. Let's do another container just to store the movie poster. So another div. And I need to bring in the movie poster. Luckily, I've already downloaded a movie poster for Avengers Endgame. I'm going to drop it in there. And then I'm going to create an image element. The source of which is going to be poster.png. Okay. Perfect. Let's run that. And now my poster is working. Perfect. Now the last thing that I need on my poster is a link to the trailer. But instead of a link to the trailer, let's actually put a let's embed the actual video in our webpage. It's really easy to do this. Let's go to YouTube and we'll go Avengers Endgame. Okay. And let's find the trailer. I can actually just put trailer. Okay. Avengers Endgame trailer right there. Boom. Now, when we go to YouTube, I'm not going to play the trailer. When we go to YouTube, we have some options down here. One of them is share. So some videos aren't going to have this share button, but some videos will. I'm going to click share. And one of the options we have is embed. If I click that, notice that it gives me what looks like HTML code. That's exactly what it is. All I have to do is copy that code and paste it onto my website, and then it puts the YouTube video right there in my web page, right? It's that easy, okay? So that's the content of our page. Now our page is basically built. Now we need to get into the CSS so that we can learn how to design it, make it look nicer, okay? So to do CSS, we're going to create a style tag up in the head section. And inside this style element, we are going to start writing our style code. First, I want to change the background color of my web page. So, and I'm applying it to the body itself. So the body of the web page is going to have its background hyphen color. It's going to be changed, and it's going to be changed to 92-4F9E. Now, if you're wondering, where did I get these numbers from? These, I just have my notes on my other screen. That is the Avengers purple color. So if you look, that's like the purple Avengers color, right? Could be a little darker, but I actually like this one a little bit more. So that's the background color. And if you forget how to do things like this, how to change background color, how to change text color, all of that kind of stuff, remember that we have W3 Schools as a reference, and you can go to Learn CSS, and everything that you want is in here. For example, the next thing I want to do is I want to change the font, right? So let's say I want to change the font, but I don't know what font I want to change it to. So if I come over here to Font Web Safe, it'll show me a bunch of different web safe fonts that exist, right? So let's see. Ooh, I like Trebuchet. I like this one. So I'm going to use Trebuchet MS. And if I look in here and see it for yourself, we actually have some code that we can literally just copy and paste into our website that will allow us to change the font family, right? So when I run it, notice that my font changes. All I had to do was copy and paste that code. So this is why I use W3 Schools for everything. It allows me to very quickly grab examples of stuff that I want that I won't have to remember. All right. One thing I want to do, I want to change this header here so that it has a white text. So it's white text instead of the black. So here's an easy way to do that. H1, color, white. And it's that easy. All right. So I've changed my header color. Next, I want to change the width of my poster, so there's a couple ways we can do this, right? I can go directly to the image itself. I can apply some style code to the image, and I can say width, and let's say, I don't know, 250 pixels, because that poster is way too wide. So if I do that, it shrinks it down and it looks kind of nice. But what I actually want to do is I want the poster to come up here beside this, the text, and I want it to fit in nicely. So we're going to do some things here where we actually make that work. What we're going to do is we're going to create something called a class. And the class is going to be basically a set of CSS code that we can apply to a specific element in our page to give that element all of the code that we've written inside the class. And to create a class, all we have to do is start the name with a period. So we type period, and I'm going to call this class, let's say info. And the info class is going to float to the left, which is going to mean basically when there's room, it's going to push elements up to the left of it. Width is going to be, let's say, 250 pixels. Height is going to be, let's say, 400 pixels. Padding, which is the amount of content outside of the content, between the border and the content itself. So give it a little bit of a padding. We'll say 20 pixels, and then we'll change the background hyphen color to, let's do EF A53A. We're going to give it a nice Avengers gold. Now, this class by itself won't do anything. Look, nothing changed. Everything's still the same. It didn't change anything. The reason why is because with classes, we actually have to assign that class to the elements we want it to apply to. So if I were to take this info class and apply it to this first div here, I can say class equals info. When I hit run, notice that it just created a box that has that background color, and it formatted everything the way I wanted it to. That's fantastic. Okay, that looks really, really good. Now, I actually also want this class to apply to the poster itself. So what we can do here is in this div that holds the poster, we can say class equals info, and run. Now notice that the poster is next to the text, and it looks really nice. And if I shrink it, whenever there's not enough room for the poster, it pushes it down, right? Okay, that looks really good. But what I want is I want this poster to be exactly the same width of the div that it's contained inside. So instead of saying 100 or 250 pixels, let's say 100%. Now, it's not going to look like there's a difference here, but it really will make a difference if we start changing the size of this div. Let's say we wanted this to be, I don't know, 300 pixels instead. Then when we do that, it'll grow the picture, which is what I want. We'd have to also adjust the size of the height as well. But this looks pretty good for me. I think this looks great. Let's see. What else? I think the only thing that we probably want to do is adjust our video here so that we don't have this weird edge where it's not kind of lined up. I want it to line up properly, right? Yeah, so let's do that. The way we could do that is there's a couple things we need to do. First, we need to change the width of this div that it's in. So instead of writing a class and doing it all up here, we can actually just do it right here in the element itself. We can say style equals width, and we'll say 600 pixels. Okay, so that's going to make the div the width that we need it to be in order for this to work. And then what I want to do is, instead of saying I want it to be 560, I want to expand it by about 20 pixels this way. So I'm going to make the width of this video 580 instead of 560. Now it lines up perfectly with my other two divs there. And I have a full web page that looks really nice. I mean, I can add more to it. I can, have more of these individual boxes. I can do Avengers Endgame, and then I can do below it, Avengers Infinity War. Like, I could do a whole web page with just these, using this kind of design to make, an Avengers website. But this right here is enough for this project. Notice that we went from a really gross looking website to something that looks really nice just by writing a little bit of CSS code. Honestly, if we were to, this code right here is really what makes this design look really nice. If we were to get rid of that code and run it again, remember, this is what we started with, right? And this is what we ended up with based on just writing a little bit of code. So that's the power of CSS, and that's why it's really important to learn design concepts for building websites. All right, go ahead and make your movie project. You can copy my style, change the colors, maybe the font, all that stuff, get a different poster, make it about a different movie. And I want your colors to be based on the movie itself. What are the most prominent colors in that movie? But I want to see your movie webpage, your favorite movie webpage. That is your project for this week or for today. All right, that's about it. Let me know if you need any help, and I will see you next time.